His own actions is my problem. Not telling humans to kill other humans. It's his own actions. Like when he
moral
someone,
outrage.
yeah, like when he killed someone for masturbating, for example. How about that? That's God doing it,
So
not
it's not a logical problem.
That
It's
wasn't
just a feeling
masturbating.
you're not content with.
It's not my morality. It's the claimed Christian morality that
But
God
once
actually
again,
violates.
it's not a logical problem. It's just something you're discontent with. This is correct.
You're asking me
It's
to
more
believe
an
this is a
emotional problem, is what
just.
it is.
If you're asking me to believe this God is just, that's what I am disputing. It's nothing to do with emotion. That is actually gaslighting.
Well, Haiti, I could solve the problem now and say that when God flooded the whole earth, He ended slavery, and then you'd be okay with it, right?
No, that's a ridiculous thing to say.
Okay.
If you're saying it was a mercy, I am pointing out that the method in which all those humans died was not merciful, and they could have all
Yeah,
died in their
I
sleep.
consider
That's all
justice,
I'm
Haiti.
saying. For
I
example,
consider
when we use
justice.
still talking, John, when we today apply the death penalty, we don't torture people to death. We try, at least, I don't know if we succeed, to make it humane. Do we not? And why is that?
But what makes you think God didn't make it humane?
Because it
That
was a global flood. That's why.
yeah, but that's not really answering question. You're just assuming it was
Okay, why don't
inhumane.
we
But how
drown
do you know
people?
God did? How do you know that? Well, first of all, how would you know there was any babies on Earth at that point?
Oh, come
Because
on. Is it
humans
really?
were so evil
Please,
they didn't.
please
This
don't
is where
pull a
we're going.
Tonloc,
There's no
Matt. That's
babies.
not a
This is
good.
where we're going.
Matt, let me ask you a question, Matt. So,
I agree. That's not a good route, Matt.
Hold on, wait
Matt,
a second. There was a guy, John
Y'all want to
Dante,
hear
that wanted to
my?
ask
Y'all
a
want to
question.
hear me?
It's a ridiculous
Are
argument.
y'all gonna keep muting me, or when you hear me out?
I don't want to hear
It's
why
just
you
a
think
theory.
there were no babies
It's
on
just.
Earth. That's a waste of time.
I want to ask
Do you
Matt a
want to hear
question.
it or do you not?
You know
I'm
what?
not going to answer
I'll
questions.
save my question for later. I'm at the office.
No,
I've
I'm
got
not
to
going to
go.
answer
See you later.
questions if you're going to keep muting me.
James likes to do that.
Can I ask you a question?
If you're going to ask a question, you need to let me speak.
Well, then let me ask you a
So
question.
what's the question?
I already
Okay.
said it 10 times. He could have just killed everyone in their sleep.
What is the question?
Justice might mean the death
What
penalty,
is
but
the
it doesn't.
question?
Let me ask you the question.
Oh my God.
Do you know what it feels like to drown to death?
No, I do not.
Okay. So if you don't know what it feels like to drown to death, how can you claim that it's not a suffering way to die?
Do you know? Because I don't know that God did allow them to know what it felt like in death. What if He just took them before the flood ever hit them?
Then what's the point of the flood?
To kill out all the evil people.
You just
I
said
think that's
he
pretty
killed
clear.
him first. You just said he killed him first and then flooded the earth.
I'm not talking about the babies. I'm talking
hold on.
about the ones whose thoughts were evil nonstop all the time.
Oh, okay. So now you're just adding things on. You're imagining that he did kill the babies
No, Hetty, you would be doing the same thing by saying that all the babies suffered an agonizing death in the flood.
You're
It's
missing a
reasonable to
very,
think
very
that people
important
drowned
part
in a flood that was
that we
designed
don't care
to
about
kill off
getting to the
humanity.
crux. Hold on. There is a very important thing. There was a very important thing that was just said. And the very important thing was that Matt thinks that the babies were taken prior to the flood happening because the babies were innocent. So now I want to take that and compare that with the commandment that God gave the Israelites to kill all the men, women, and children, both suckling and infant. Why did God not just spare those babies also? Can you describe that?
Yeah. But
That
Matt,
wasn't
quickly,
my
do you
argument.
actually believe God took the babies before the flood?
What I actually
No, he
believe,
does not.
I actually don't necessarily believe this, but I think you can make an argument that there were no babies on earth when the flood happened, because there's passages where it says God closes the womb of people, and it says that they're evil, even their thoughts were evil nonstop all the time. So if even their thoughts were evil nonstop, then how could anyone even be able to take care of a child to begin with?
Nothing but adults
And then,
on the earth at the
and
time.
then at the end, God actually has to tell Noah and his family again to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth afterwards. So I think there could be. I think when you just assume God killed millions
I
of
agree.
babies, I think that would be assumption, and that's my
Yeah,
point.
I would agree with that. There's a
I think
possibility for
Justin
that.
makes a better argument as to just focus on what they told them to do to the Canaanites and things like that, instead of messing with the flood.
There were nothing.
And there's a
but
reason why he said kill babies and women and children. They weren't just regular humans. They were giants.
That's an assumption.
It says that all flesh was corrupted.
That's an assumption.
Except for no, it's not an assumption because there's literally stories of these.
Yeah, about the Nephilim.
Yeah, there's stories about it. Like Goliath,
Yeah,
he was a
can you
giant.
tell me? Can you show me how it
why floods open
necessarily?
if everybody
Hold
was
on,
banned?
hold on,
All the
Tom,
wombs
hold
were
on.
closed.
Can you show me how it necessarily follows that those babies most definitely were necessarily giants? You won't be
Because
able
when
to do
in
it.
the story, yeah, I would. Because it also says that it was the Zamzummans. It says that the Canaanite people were giants. Literally, all that race of people, they were giants. It's literally in the text, and I can go through it and I can show you. But I'm at work right now. They were literally giants. They weren't just regular humans.